Want to know the most expensive mistake I made when starting my Airbnb? I ignored a tiny red flag that cost me $1,200 in my first month alone. But don't worry, today I'm sharing 5 lessons that we learned the hard way when first getting started on Airbnb. Every one of these mistakes will save you money, and for some reason, no one's talking about number 3. And stick around till the end because I'm gonna share exactly how we turn things around in the second month. Whether you're just getting started or already hosting, these are lessons that could save you thousands. So let's dive right in. The first shocking lesson, and this one caught us completely off guard, Airbnb's payment schedule for new hosts. Everyone tells you about cleaning fees, pricing strategy, and guest communication, but no one mentions this critical detail that could destroy your cash flow when you're starting out. Most people assume it works like this: guest books, guest stays, you get paid. Simple, right? Well, let me walk you through what actually happened to me. Day 1, guest books for a stay 2 weeks out. Day 14, guest checks in. Day 35, money finally hits our account. That's 35 days of floating all the property expenses. Think about that. You're paying for everything out of pocket for over a month. That means we had to cover our mortgage, which was $3,500, our insurance, $370, utilities, $350, Wi-Fi, $70, initial supplies, $600, first month cleaning, $1,600, total cash needed up front, almost $5,000. And here's the kicker: most of these expenses hit before you see a single dollar from Airbnb. Now, I know what you're thinking. James, why didn't you plan for this? Well, like most new hosts, we assumed the money would flow much faster. Big mistake. Here's what smart hosts do instead. First, have at least 1.5 months of expenses liquid before you start. Ideally, more like 3 to 6. This isn't just about having the money, it's about reducing stress during your launch. Second, negotiate with your vendors. A lot of cleaning companies and service providers will work with you on payment timing and terms if you explain the situation. Some will even align their billing with your Airbnb payouts. But here's the good news: this only happens in the very beginning. Once you're up and running, the payments start flowing more regularly. Just don't get caught in the trap that we did, expecting that's gonna happen right from the start. Now let's talk about maintenance and repairs, lesson 2. This one's interesting because while the costs aren't necessarily higher than traditional rentals, the timing and urgency create unique challenges. In our first month, we spent $300 on regular maintenance and another $550 on emergency repairs for a total of $850. These numbers aren't outrageous for a rental property. The real challenge, the timing and urgency of repairs. Let me explain why this matters so much in short-term rentals. In a traditional rental, if something minor breaks, you might have a few days to get it fixed. With Airbnb, you've got hours. Your next guest is checking in tomorrow and they're expecting everything to be perfect, or your current guest needs it fixed right away. Let me walk you through our first month. Thursday night, shower head breaks during a guest stay. Friday morning, plumber visits for emergency replacement. Saturday afternoon, a couple weeks later, door handle starts sticking. Sunday morning, emergency locksmith between the guests. The next week, AC is acting up, needs some same-day service. Each repair wasn't massive on its own, but they all required immediate attention. This is where most new hosts get caught off guard. It's not just the cost, it's the urgency. And here's the real kicker: if you aren't strategic about it, you can end up paying a lot of extras for emergency upcharges. But if you don't fix things right away, you can end up paying even more in refunds to guests. Here's a system we developed to help handle this effectively. First, build relationships with multiple different vendors. Have at least 2 contacts for each service, things like plumbing, electrical, whatever it might be. Negotiate priority service agreements so that if you consistently give them business, they prioritize coming to you. Keep a list of 24/7 emergency providers and always try to have your general handyman fix things as opposed to a specialized tradesperson if possible. Number 2, you want to take care of preventative maintenance on a schedule. So monthly property inspections, quarterly deep checks of major systems, seasonal HVAC maintenance, and regular appliance servicing. Number 3, emergency supply kit. So basic plumbing supplies on hand for your handyman, common replacement parts, backups even for major appliances. And I know this last one sounds insane, but yeah, we literally have a backup washer and dryer at our properties now in case one of them breaks. We know they're going to break down eventually, and this way we actually have time to get it repaired versus needing to just replace it because we're out of time. We also save on additional cleaning costs from our cleaner not needing to go to a laundromat to do laundry off-site. So it really is a win-win. Number 4 is financial planning. So you want to make sure that monthly maintenance fund gets set up and that you have a budget for those emergency repairs. Now, the third lesson is wild. There are literally professional complainers who make money from Airbnb stays. I know this sounds crazy, but let me show you exactly what happened to us. In our second week of hosting, we get this guest. They've got a good profile, they had okay reviews, no major red flags, and they booked a 4-night stay. Day 1 goes smoothly, then day 2 hits, and the messages start rolling in. At 9 a.m., the water pressure seems a bit low. 10:30, the Wi-Fi is slower than advertised. 2 p.m., the neighbor's dog barked for 5 minutes. 4:30 p.m., the afternoon sun makes the living room warm. Each message ended with the same subtle threat. We might need to find other accommodations unless we can get compensated for these issues. Now, at first, we panicked. No host wants bad reviews, especially when they're just getting started. But then we noticed something interesting. We dug deeper into their profile, looking at past stays and reviews, and guess what we found? The same pattern over and over. They book during peak times, they find minor issues, they escalate complaints, they request partial refunds, and they threaten negative reviews. These people had turned complaining into a business model, essentially. They were banking on new hosts being afraid of bad reviews and not getting them money off of their stays. But here's something most hosts don't know about. Airbnb's retaliatory review policy. This is your secret weapon against professional complainers. If you can prove a guest is trying to extort you for a review or a refund, Airbnb will automatically remove their review completely. So it takes away their leverage. Here's the exact system we built to protect ourselves. 1, we document everything. So photos before every check-in, video walkthroughs of key areas, timestamp maintenance record, detailed amenity checklist. We've got it all sorted out. Number 2 is our communication strategy. So you want to keep everything in Airbnb messages on the platform. No texting, no phone calls. Respond promptly and professionally to every message. Save screenshots of key conversations and never, ever, ever negotiate outside of the platform. The third thing we do is we have preemptive measures. So clear house rules, detailed property description, accurate photos of everything, and regular maintenance logs. Number 4 is we now look for red flag indicators. So multiple small complaints, escalating demands, review leverage, a pattern of similar types of stays, these issues coming up again and again. The key is being proactive, not reactive. So the minute that you sense this pattern, start documenting everything. Build your case methodically, and remember, professional hosts don't negotiate with review manipulators. Use the system to your advantage. Now, let's talk about lesson 4, the $1,600 cleaning mistake. This one's particularly painful because it was completely avoidable. Here's what happened. We started out thinking, let's get the most premium cleaning service that we can find. Makes sense, right? You want 5-star reviews, you need 5-star cleaning. So we hired this high-end cleaning company, $400 per turnover, 4 turnovers that month, total of $1,600. But here's what that actually looked like. First turnover, they were 30 minutes late. The second turnover, that went perfectly. The third turnover, they missed a few things in the bathroom. And the fourth turnover, they were total no-show, total panic. Last minute, we had to find a replacement. That last one, that's when we learned the most expensive lesson of all. Reliability beats perfection every single time. We had to scramble to find a backup cleaner at the last minute, paying double the standard rate, all while our guests were texting us their ETA. Now we pay $250 per clean for a better service. How's that possible? Well, we completely rebuilt our cleaning system from the ground up. First thing we did was build the right team. We hired individual cleaners directly and established clear expectations, as well as created a backup network of cleaners if anything needed something last minute. We also learned the hard way that if you're lazy about finding the right people, you'll pay for it down the road. So now we spend extra time to make sure that we get that part right. The second thing we do is we have documentation systems for everything. So room by room checklists, photo verification of completion, quality control processes, guest feedback tracking. This way, if things get missed, we can hold people accountable and do whatever we need to do on our end to smooth out processes and ensure mistakes aren't being repeated multiple times over. The third thing we do is our communication protocol. So we have automated booking confirmations so the cleaners know that a booking gets confirmed and they're going to need to be going in that day. We have day before reminders. We have completion notifications for our team so we know when cleaning gets done. And we have an issue reporting system so that all maintenance issues get tracked. And the fourth thing we do is our quality control. Ideally, you want to do random spot checks when cleaners don't necessarily know you're going to be doing them. You definitely want to monitor your guest feedback closely and continuously improve the process, which again just allows us to ensure that proper systems are being put in place to avoid any repeat issues. Here's the biggest takeaway though. When it comes to cleaning teams, consistency beats perfection. A cleaner who shows up every time and does a good job is worth 10 times more than a perfect cleaner who's unreliable. Now, lesson 5, we were shocked at just how much of a difference professional photography makes. This is where most hosts miss a massive opportunity. When we launched our very first listing, everything leading up to that was just a huge scramble. And because we were pretty disorganized, we ended up having a delay between when the property was ready and when our photographer was scheduled to come in. So our brilliant plan was basically, let's take placeholder photos from our iPhones. We'll launch with the placeholder iPhone photos, and then later on, we'll update with professional photos a couple weeks down the road once we had them. Huge mistake. Our launch ended up being a total flop, and we ended up needing to relaunch completely down the road because of this mistake. Because here's the thing, when you've got a brand new listing, people don't trust you. You don't have reviews, you don't have a track record, and if all you've got is crappy iPhone photos, then your listing looks kind of sketchy. So when you launch like that, people won't book, or at least not anywhere near as many as you need to have booked. And when people don't book, it signals to Airbnb that your listing is undesirable. So then you get punished in search, and then you're in a whole negative cycle. So it's honestly just completely mission critical that you launch with incredible photos. Here's how we transformed our listing. First, we have strategic photos in a strategic order. We've got a hero shot that stops the scroll, then attention grabbing shots that highlight our best amenities. Then we've got some lifestyle images mixed in to truly tell the story of what it'll be like to stay there. We've got amenity features in context. We've got seasonal variations for different times of the year. Number 2, we've got amenity storytelling. So smart home features in action, workspace ergonomics, kitchen functionality, entertainment options, comfort upgrades. Number 3, always high quality professional photos. This needs to have amazing lighting. You want to have great angles, wide angle lenses, someone that really knows what they're doing. The results from that were immediate. We got better quality guests, we got higher nightly rates, more bookings, fewer pre-booking questions, and better overall reviews. Now, everything I've shared with you today, these are lessons I had to learn the hard way. And honestly, it's why I created B&B Tribe. Because when I first started, I wished I had someone showing me exactly what to do and what to avoid. Today, B&B Tribe is helping hundreds of hosts skip those expensive learning curves. We're talking about hosts going from occasional bookings rolling in every once in a while to 3 to 5 reservations per day using our systems and templates. We've got everything from AI-powered listing optimization to pricing tools that take the guesswork out of revenue management. Because look, running an Airbnb business doesn't have to be complicated. For less than the cost of just one night's booking, just $49 a month, you can get access to our entire resource library, video training workshops, and most importantly, a community of other hosts who are actually doing this stuff every single day. So if you want to check it out, just click the link in the description right down below. We even back it up with a 30-day money-back guarantee because we're that confident in the value that this training provides. Now, let's break down exactly what happened in our first month. No fluff, no hype, just real numbers. So our first month revenue when we launched with this particular property was $4,500. Now, before you say that's not bad, that's a lot of money, let me show you all of the expenses. So first off, we had our fixed costs. We had the mortgage at $3,500, insurance $370, property taxes $150, utilities $350, Wi-Fi $70. So our total fixed expenses were $4,440. But it doesn't end there. We also had variable costs. So we had $1,600 in cleaning, $600 in initial supplies, $300 worth of maintenance, another $550 worth of emergency repairs for a total of $3,050. So our total expenses for the month were $7,490 and our net profit was a negative $2,990. So we lost money. Now, I know what you're thinking. James, this looks like a disaster, but here's why it wasn't and why this actually set us up for success. First, we launched during the low season. Now, in our market, like a lot of other markets, you break even during the low season and you make your profit during the high season. It's a natural cycle in short-term rental businesses in a lot of markets. Second is we made a strategic decision to price lower for our first month. Think of it as investing in our reputation. New listings with no reviews are always harder to sell, so we priced competitively to get those crucial first few reviews. And guess what? The strategy worked better than we expected. Month 2, bookings jumped all the way up to $7,000, even though we were still in low season. That's a 55% increase just from having those first few reviews and optimizing our systems. And by the time high season came around, we brought in as much as $15,000 to $20,000 a month, depending on the month. But let's talk about what we learned and what we do differently. So our cleaning costs, they started at $1,600 and then we optimized them to $900 for a month. We got better service at a lower cost, and systems are what made the difference. Number 2 is our supply management. We actually over-purchased supplies initially. This was a drain on initial cash, but it saved us money in the long run because we had a backfill of supplies. You got to really manage your cash flow with this kind of stuff, so that's the one important note to make there. Number 3 is repair planning. So we do a lot more preventative maintenance now. We have better vendor relationships, and we have an emergency fund established for when those unexpected things come up, as well as quick response systems to make sure that guests aren't ever left waiting. Here's the truth about starting an Airbnb. Your first month isn't about making a big profit. It's about building systems that work long-term. Every mistake we made taught us something valuable that made our business stronger. But here's the most important thing. Everything we just talked about, these are solvable problems. We lost money in month 1, but we built systems that set us up for success later on down the road. Think about it. We went from losing $3,000 to profiting $1,300 in just 30 days. And that's still while we were in low season. That's what happens when you learn from your mistakes and optimize your systems. If you're thinking about starting an Airbnb, don't let these lessons scare you. Use them to prepare better than we did. Build your systems before you need them. Plan your cash flow. Find reliable cleaners and other team members. Here's what I want you to do next. Drop a comment down below. What surprised you the most? Was it the payment delay, the maintenance reality, the professional complainers? Let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to hear from you guys. And if you've got value from this video, be sure to check out BNB Tribe because there's lots more value where this came from. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.